Hello, welcome to this session. Today we will develop a feature and maintain an existing an open source project. I just want to share my experience, also share my coding experience to you, and we can develop together. So before we start, I can surely say it's not a tutorial, it's not a course, or I don't guarantee I don't guarantee anything you can learn from here. This is just live coding. You can code with me. You can see how I can maintain an open source project and how to develop my features. Let's start with this issue. I created this issue today because I realized there's a missing validation feature in my InputKit library. Also, there's a validation, but it's not so useful for validation. I think I can show you like that. There's a validation example already, but it's not so useful. And there's my pages. Yeah, there's my pages. It's not useful and it's not extensible. It's a regular validation, but it's working right now. I will improve it. There's a form view, and you can bind this validated feature, is validated property, and it collects the validation state from controls inside it. It's simple, and everything happens with a validatable interface, inputs, also controls, as I mean, implements this interface, and this interface maintains if the input validated or not. This is a simple way, but I don't like it. But it's maybe 5 years old code. This is a MAUI project. I moved completely. I moved entire same code to MAUI project. So it seems new, but it's not new. It's almost 4 years old code, but I don't like it because it's required. Shouldn't be a property. Because requiring is another validation rule. So I was developing on Uranium UI kit. I just developed another validation logic. You can see there's a validation message and a method inside it. That's enough. If it's validated or not, according to value, and there's a message if it's not validated. It's simple. And usage is the same because I inspired from my logic from Uranium kit. Usage is same. There's a validations collection, and you can add any validation according to your requirement. You can use multiple validations with multiple texts. It's a regular validation rule, but there's no solid feature in MAUI right now. I will develop it. I will include it in my InputKit. So let's make a demonstrate. You can see there's a required field. Also, there's a exclamation mark here. And there's a true validation on this field. Then I start to write here. Yeah, it goes on, and there's must be greater than 5. 1 is not acceptable. Maybe I can use 6, and validation goes. This is what I want. I already implemented it, but it's not published because I think about it. It should be included in InputKit because Uranium UI isn't main. This validation rule isn't main purpose of my Uranium UI. So let's develop together. This is my InputKit solution. Now you can see there's annotation type. That's ugly switch code. I already deprecated, but I haven't removed it until now. By the way, let's switch my repository to InputKit. It's also open source project. You can, as you can see, if you don't know, you can take a look. I'm planning to release 4.1 for both MAUI and Xamarin. This is my feature. I will complete this as much as I can in this session. Let's start. Firstly, I moved my classes to MAUI project, to InputKit project. You can see there's a validations folder. There's a validation interface, and there is a validatable interface. It's already exists. It already exists, but I change it. I also pick my notes here. Is required will be removed. Okay, I removed is required, as I show you. And messages, I convert to message property. It's not related to advanced entry. Okay, I'm taking notes for advanced entry. This is validatable. My controls like advanced entry will implement this interface. It's already implementing this interface, but I made some breaking change on it. If I try to implement, yeah, it's valid and messages. Let's see what was the old one. Code. And now I get to go to file. I validatable. This is the existing one. Is required. Is validated. It's not validated. It's valid right now. So is valid. Validated. Remain to is valid. So I cannot take it. I can just rename it. I will go step by step. I will remove this property entirely, but I will implement the breaking changes first, because it will be much more complicated if I continue. But there will be no property for is required. Is required will be another validation. Maybe we can go here. Where is my validatable? Yeah, maybe. What is that message? This will be validation. iValidatable will be a controller, so it won't be included in validations. I will move it back to abstraction because you can see it's under abstraction folder. I don't like that name anymore. This is really old code base and I haven't maintained it. But I don't want to use that abstraction name in future, but now I will go with that name. There's already abstraction folder. I've removed this validatable object from here and I will send it back, because they are not the same thing. Yes, is valid messages. Maybe I don't need them. Maybe just I will put here a list of iValidation. Yeah, this interface keeps validations, and validations can say message and if they valid or not. Everything is kept on this interface, so I don't need any property like is required, is validated, or something else. I don't need anything. So that's enough. Also, I don't need any messages because validations include their messages. Also, these validations means, go back to my issue. The validations means that validations collection in my control, in my entry, or in my input, whatever you use. This is the collection, but this is only on interface right now. I will implement this interface to my advanced entry. I'll go back my entry. Before I implement it, yeah, validations is not implemented, but before I implement it, I will apply the breaking chains. Yes, just implement right now, because I need that connection to apply breaking chains. Oh, this class is really huge. It's really hard to work on it. I will search for it. Validations. Yeah, here. It will append it at the end of properties. But Yeah, using partial class is really useful with this kind of huge classes. I will create another CS file to separate validation logic from this huge class. This is first step of my refactoring. Let's say validation.cs. Okay, there's a problem with my extension. It cannot create a complete class, but I saw that. It is a partial class. Also, we can move the interface here because everything should be here about the validation. Yes, this is my namespace. So I go back here to apply my breaking chains. This warning button visible according to is required. As I understand, it says this one. If it's required, the warning button where the warning image will be visible. I'm not sure about it. I will remove that one. Even I will remove that image from here, alert png. Before I remove it, I will find where is it. I will remove it from my resources. I assume that it should be here, but no, there's no alert png. I don't remember what is the purpose of this png. I will read my readme text file. I remember there's something about it. Alert png. Your resource must contain. Okay, alert png is not included in my library, so I can remove it safely. This line will be gone. Yeah. The next one is validation message. I will remove it and add it to my partial class. I think this is validation method. I will remove it entirely. Now I can go. There's no warning here anymore. I will manage it from my partial class. There's no label annotation here. Maybe I can keep it because setting font family is important. Yeah. Before I change it, let's create a label for it. Look at the label. I haven't copied. Okay, I'll copy that name and then rename it. All the references will be updated. I defined my label here. I will say label validation. Well, I don't know why I choose the name as annotation. It's also validation. I don't know. I just refactor everything about validation and I will build a new validation logic. So is required means if one of my validation is required validation. Required validation is a validation class that implements iValidation, and there's a validate method implementation. If value is a string, it should be not null or empty. If it's null or empty, it is not validated. If it's not a string, just check it's not null. This is the default message. This is validation, and that means required. This is required. If one of them is required validation, it's required. But I don't know why these properties exist. Let's check. Refactoring a project is really hard because I don't know. Maybe you don't remember all of logic. Sometimes you have to check this out. You have to find out what is the purpose of that property. So I will check this. I don't really remember. Is valid comes from the old interface. You can see old interface is validated. Okay, I will rename it. and I just remove the new one. So it's not required anymore. Also value and is selected. I don't know is selected why it stands for. There's no comment for it. I think selection is not related to validation, so I just skip it. I just don't touch it because it's not our topic right now, and I don't want to break some other features while developing a new validation rule. So refactoring existing solutions, existing projects is really hard because I want to touch this, I want to remove this, but I'm not sure what it affects, and I'm not sure how much work we'll need to fix that, because I can bake something, maybe it can be cost much more time than what I think. So let's continue. Annotation. I don't like the annotation name. Also, I just remove completely that annotation type. Letters only, digits only. There will be a new class for my logic according to my logic. Let's say letters only. Okay, that means letters only. Validation here. Validation. And if value is a string, it is text right now. Return text all. I don't know. Char is digit is letter. Yeah. If all of them is digit, no, sorry, I'm sorry. If all of them is a letter, yeah, that will return true. Otherwise, it's false because it's not a string. Maybe we can assume true the default value. I don't know. I will check use cases later. So I can remove it. Digits only almost same. Digits only validation. There's also high validation. Digits only almost same. Let me copy letters only from letters only. Yeah, this is the implementation. Char is digit. Non-digits only. I don't think this is important. People can use regex. By the way, we need a regex validation. Yeah, there's no regex right now. Regex validation, because regex validation is really useful and extensible. People can create their own rules. Validation, implement interface. In that case, is different because our validation should take a parameter with a new property for that. It's a string. Regex. I don't use regex name inside the class because the class name is already regex. So I just use expression. Now I can execute my expression, but before I execute, I want to be sure the value is a string. Was text. Let's say return text is return text. I don't know how regex work. I will just see regex. Match input and pattern, and there's a result. Okay. Input text patterns. I think this is regex. Yeah, this is regex pattern to merge. Okay, expression is my pattern. Maybe I can use pattern instead of expression. Because regex, it's a regular expression. Expression is already included in the name. This is regex pattern. Yeah, this is pattern. There's a result. I don't know what is in result. Result length name. Okay, I got it. Which index match with my expression? Yeah, this is a good result. But is there any simple way? New regex or something? Oh yeah, my pattern. Creating new one isn't a good idea. Creating new instance for each check, because this validation will work while user type in text field into a text field. It will trigger for each letter user hit. But I don't know this instance. What this instance include? I don't know. Let me check. What about the static method? Okay, there's a regex cache. Okay, this is much more useful. Much more useful. Success. If it's not, it's return false. I don't know what is the value. Okay. I can continue decimal. Mean value, max value. I don't know, maybe it might be useful, but I'm not sure. There is a numeric. It's all digit. Okay, digit is different thing because digit cannot contain dot or comma according to culture. But I don't want to use decimal or double or something else. I just want to use numeric and a numeric field that can be parsed. Yeah, I can just use the numeric validation. High validation. Oh, I miss a message for regex expression. There should be a default. It also can be settable. There should be a default message. The rule doesn't match. I don't know. I will update it later. The rule, I don't know. Field isn't valid. I'll factoriate it according to the requirements, but people can set this, people can override it, and that's okay. Numeric validation, this is a new class. I think there's one more digit only. It can be changed later as the field should contain only digits. And I'll use the variation for letters. Set. Only letters. No, that's okay. We can continue numeric validation. If I parse it, it should be a string because it's a text field. If value is a string again, string text, return, I will use double, so I parse. This is my text. I don't use any out. Discard. This is a discard symbol. The property, the out the member, it doesn't matter if I use that discard symbol, it won't be used, it will be discarded. So you can see there's a discard name here. It's a discard. Numeric validation, password. I think it's a regex. Phone is a regex button we already implemented. Short type, I don't know what is short type. Int type, it's the this is not really maintainable. Oh man. Double type, decimal type, byte type, S byte type, chart type. Chart type may be useful, but it equals two validation. It's max length 1 and letters only. Yeah, this is combination of two of them. Okay. Short, all of them are rubbish. Okay. Okay, there's no enum for that. We will use our validation classes. Each one implements validate object. Also, mean value uses icomparable. All the value types are icomparable. So I can compare any type without knowing that type. For example, it can be integer, it can be boolean, or it can be whatever you think. That can be comparable. That can be compared. Also convert value as object, but value comes always string because it comes from text field. So I am converting that string to original type. Then I can compare it, but it's a boxed type. I can use object for always. So let's continue. There is no annotation type anymore. So that means, take another node. Annotation type is removed. Also, I can use is here and is here. Removed. Okay. So there's a lot of error because there's a switch case pattern to check validation. Also required. It is annotated. Property will be removed completely entirely. This password isn't required, but it proxies a property. It proxies entry property. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's not about validation. It's just for keyboard type and hides the text. It replaces text with stars. Okay, that's okay. Validation message. We don't have to use it because each validation has its own message. Is removed. I can remove it confidently. Ignore validation message. It's a bindable property. I just remove it. This is a good. Okay, this is a good section. I can realize what is removed from it. I will come back later here. Let's go back. The error. Yeah, annotation type is already removed. There's another error here, but I cannot say. Yeah, I see. Corner radius. There is a mistake here. After I remove value, property, this line is broken. But it should be value. I fixed a bug that is included in here. Almost 1 year. I fixed a bug. Corner radius can't be set because it uses value instead of 1. Continue. That means nobody use corner radius, or who use corner radius can't update the corner radius and just skip it, and they just didn't create an issue for that. But most probably it's not used. Then corner radius is okay. Is annotated. It is annotated was a property, but it doesn't exist anymore. Is removed. So I can remove it safely. Annotation type, removed. Validation message, it's also not annotation type. The name is annotation. It's removed. validation message. Maybe just remove it. Yeah. Let's continue. Reset. I don't know what reset. There's a summary for that. Resets of current annotation. It's all about annotation. Annotation message. I remove it. Also, there's a property named annotation message. I will remove it. Can I? Is visible? Yes, I'll remove it. Annotation color. That might be useful, but I don't like the annotation name. So I will rename it. Annotation color is named as validation color. So validation color. Also, it should be a bindable property. Is there any breaking change here? Annotation message. Annotation message is removed. Did I write it here? Yeah. That kind of properties, mostly style properties, should be a bindable property. So default annotation color. There's a default annotation color. I don't know. I'll just remove it. Remove it. Because bindable properties has a default value, I will use bindable properties default value. Label validation, yeah, it's moved to another partial class. So I will move it to my partial class for validation. Yeah, validation class. There's a property for that. I remove because the name explains itself. I don't prefer too much comments on my code, but I used to it before, but I don't prefer. If it explains itself, I think it's not necessary to comment it. Where is my property? There is no bindable property for it. Okay, to do. Create validation car property bindable property. Okay, let's continue. Reset. We don't need to reset anything. Use annotated property. Input field text changed. Oh, this is a good approach. Set value. I have a better approach. I will bind the text property, this class text property to input text property. I will update later. There's no update warning. Display validation, but I don't remove it because it comes from interface, as I remember. Yeah, it's a validatable. Yeah, if the user hits a submit button before touching anything, the form view of InputKit will trigger this method for each control, each component, and each component shows their validation message if there is a validation issue. So this method is required, but I will move it to my partial class. Properties first, so I will use my method here. And back here, update keyboard. It's already obsolete, it's already deprecated. I can remove it safely. Update keyboard. Update keyboard method is removed. Update volume. I have just removed text changed. It might be useful, but I'll figure it out later. So there's no min length. Min length is important because it determines the maximum length of this entry, but it shouldn't be related to validation. So I remove everything, but what is the min length or max length? What it does? It only sets a backing field max length. I think they should be a bindable property. Let me write some bindable property for that. Public. Sorry, it's my bad. Public static only bindable property. Max length property. Let's create another bindable property. Create. I'll just wrap all the parameters because this style isn't readable. I will refactor them later, but it's not our topic right now. Because if you start refactoring, you cannot finish it. You have to touch everything, but I don't want to do that. I just focus one thing and I'll do that. I will refactor step by step. This is not our job right now. Property name. Property name is name of inline. Return type is integer. Declaring type is advanced entry, because this class is advanced entry. Default value. Yeah, that's what I say. Default value. I'm not sure what should be. I'll check entry. Max length. Oh, there's no max length for entry. It's interesting. I think default value should be integer max value because I don't want to assume everything. So I don't assume anything right now. There should be a method when property change, property change, bindable, all value, and new value. There should be a lambda here, and there's a text there. What was the name? I don't remember, but there should be something it named entry. txt input. It's a Windows Forms behavior, txt prefix. I won't use that, but it's not the topic of today. I will refactor it later. Max length of the entry. I couldn't find it before. It comes from input view. Okay. There's a max length. I don't know what is the default. Yeah, default value is integer max value. Okay, that's what I think. Equals new value, but new value is object. Yes, but I know it is an integer because I declare here. I can confidently cast it to integer. What is missing? Nothing. I cannot use that because it's a static property. I cannot use that. But I know the bindable object, bindable parameter is my class, is my advanced entry. So max length is okay, that's acceptable. Max length property Ah, there is already max length property and max length. Okay, sorry. It steals our time, but sometimes you cannot see. Okay, I just wrap it out. Just wrap all of the parameters here. Integer max value and when property change max. I don't prefer this one. Text input max length. Text input of that parameter, bindable parameter. It's bindable. This means old value. This means new value. So this is new value. Okay, let's go step by step. I can use this max length property right now from my max length property. Yeah, I cannot use directly my input. I will use my bindable property, which will return integer. I can call get value. That's okay. I will pass that value set value, sorry, to my bindable property. Yeah. When I set that bindable property, it will automatically execute that property change method. But also, this is a bindable property. This will inform everywhere which listens that property. It will update everywhere that listens that property. So using bindable properties is much more important. Default value 0. What is min length? Okay. Is there an integer min length? Yeah, min value. This is much more useful. I will use exact names because otherwise they are not maintainable. Okay, min value, but it's a circular dependency. We'll use text input minimum length. There is no minimum length. Minimum length means my minimum length validation. Min length validation. So we will use validation for that. Yeah, there is no min length. Okay, that means min length is removed. There is no min length. Reset in a constructor. This is constructor. This is important. I don't want to forget it. Just declare another method. Initialize validation. Let's say, and go back my partial class. What is it here? And it should be, I don't know, maybe we can go with protected. Initialize evaluation. I'm not sure the name is right, but check initialize value. There's a typo here. Okay, now okay, I will come back this file after I complete my job in advanced entry class. Let me check. Let me last check. Update warning. Update warning for what? Display validation. It's not readable, but regex pattern. There is no regex pattern anymore. So that means there's a property named regex pattern, and it will be removed because we already have regex validation class for that. So take another node, regex pattern is removed. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, I just removed. Is there anything related to validation in this class? Ignore validation message. Oh, I cannot use that property, but I don't know. Should it be in here? Will it be useful? Yeah, people can ignore validation sometimes. I'm not sure, but I will remove. But this is an existing feature. That means I remove a feature. I remove an existing feature. But I think we already broke that feature. Yeah, there's no reference. We already broke that feature. Okay. Ignore validation message is not a property anymore. Maybe we can add, I don't know, another extension for that. For ignoring validations, because ignore validation means removing all of the validation rules. So if people removes all validations from validation collection, this collection, that means it will be not validated. It's already validated because there's no validation. It's not required. There's no minimum length or minimum value or maximum. So I remove it. Ignore validation message. This is a useful feature. It will focus the next entry in the same layout automatically when user hits done button in keyboard. I love that feature. People also love that feature. Okay. Let me check again. Is there anything for related validation? Apply validation position. That might be good, but is there a property for that? Validation position. That is a good property, but implementation shouldn't be like that. I move that implementation to my validation class. I will refactor it later. And the display validation method can do that also. I'm not sure about implementation. I'll go back. Is there anything related to validation? Front-end validation. It's not a good comment, but I don't know. Let's keep it. It's not our job by now. Initialize validation, apply validation position. I don't think it shouldn't be here because I will use validation message, validation label, and validation icon. I'll make them lazy. They will not be initialized until they need it. So it's also a performance improvement. Is there anything more? Validation message. It's unused field. Validation changed events. There is no validation changed event anymore. Maybe some people are dependent on it. Event is removed. Clicked can be an event. Is it triggering? Is there any trigger for that? In that class, is there any click invoke? So I can remove it. Sorry. Text changed. I don't know, is it triggered? Yeah, it isn't triggered because I remove I remove text change method. Yeah, it should be triggered here. It's a proxy. It's a proxy event. Text changed invoke with sender. Should I pass sender from method or pass this class as a sender? Yeah, this is also proxy. I can send this class. Okay, that should be kept here. So unfocused, I think they are used. Yeah, they are used. Okay, we can go. Okay, everything is done here. So I'll go back my Uranium MAUI project and uh, investigate how I implemented it yesterday. There's a validation folder here also. Uranium UI, validation. Yeah, the same classes here. It's not important here. We already implemented here. I'll go to material team and check how my control implemented. There's input field dot validation dot sys. Yeah, that's what I say. There's a lazy content view that keep a path in it is required. Why there's a is required referee? Because it implements InputKit's old interface. That interface I showed you at the beginning. So I don't want to use that IO table. So is required, isn't required anymore, is validated. Maybe it can be useful. Can be useful. Let me check. Validations and display validation. Yeah, I know each validation has a validate method, but they should be executed always to check it. Also, there's a multiple validation. Yeah, using a is valid. Probably maybe useful. We need only getter. Classes can implement the setter, but we need only getter right now. So I will implement it as an expression. So implement the missing one is valid. So initialize validation method is required because I want to initialize something. Firstly, I need to check what is the advanced entry. This is a stack layout. Yeah, that's good. There's a apply label position. I think it's required. Yeah, it's required. Remove the old one and add it to beginning or ending. Maybe we can change the names before after. This is a global enum. Okay. I can keep it. Also, this is related to validation. I can move the property here. position. What is the property? Yeah, it's implemented well. Validation property. I will remove that comment lines. I don't know where should I put. Since this is a property, there's no constructor here. The property, yeah. Label position also. I will move the bindable property. Validation position. Well, this line also implement some of community member. It's a good feature. Okay. Now display validation is an interface implementation. So I need a method protected virtual. Yeah, it should be protected. Virtual void check validation. Validation will be checked always when text changed. So display validation also. Oh, it's a good method. Check and show, check and display. Maybe I think better name. Also, I have implemented in Uranium UI. Check and show. Check and show. It's not good. Check and display. I think display is better than show. I can use the implementation. Is great. I will use that implementation. Check display validations. Okay, there's another problem because there's no field for that. I will create a Boolean field. It's a private field. Boolean last validation state. Yeah, it's a good prevent something executing twice. So adding and removing that label position assumes label is always placed in the same place, but in my new logic I will remove label and icon when validation is completed issue, because why not? It's much more performant, much more performance friendly. So apply label position, validation position. The position is good. It's adding new one or inserting, but not removing. But if I call this one, it should be removed. But applying, when this position changed, it should remove old one and add. Okay, that is good for adding new one. So I will call this add new one, but this method requires parameters. We already have it. We already have our property here, validation position. But why it should need position? If I access it, that method can access it. This instance method, yeah, it can access it. So apply validation position doesn't take any parameter anymore. Check validations, it's not check validations anymore. Check and display validations here. So I can remove that to do because I already use it, already implemented it. Check validation caliper. Okay, we need a bindable filter. Let's do it real quick. Okay, I skip it. I will complete the validation first. State changed. If state is different than last state. Okay, if state really changed, I should remove validation here. Let's make two separated methods for that. Virtual let's add validation, show add validation. Let's say show validation warning. It's not warning, show validation. Let's go with it. I will rename it if I don't like it in future. Height, show and height, but height is not a good. And because the method doesn't hide it, the method will remove it completely. In the same logic, this method doesn't show the validation. This method creates and adds validation. And let's say one. Here, apply label position also adds. There's a method to remove it. Sorry. Also, I'll need an icon for that, but I already have icon because you can see this is my icon here, the exclamation mark. So I can copy the path, the shape from here. Lazy icon validation. This is a good name. Label. Oh, there's a missing implementation label validation. It's always null. So path isn't path with path isn't the path from system.io. So I can copy that namespace. The path used in this class is MAUI path. So there's a color, but I don't have any color palette in my application, in my library, in my input kit. So I go with red, but it should be customizable. Maybe validation color can apply this one too. What is the difference? Fill, brush. Color is also can be used as brush. Okay, I got it. This is an instance property. It's not a static property. I cannot use it here. Why not? Because it's lazy, I think. I don't want to set this color from somewhere else. Is there any other method with parameter? Yeah, we are using this one, the factory. Let's save. Let's save mode. Okay, that's okay. We'll use red and we'll make it customizable later. Data. Also, this bindable property will set this color. So if user configure that, this will be configured as well. Data input could use predefined shapes, but we have to define another shape for that. Let's copy the path from my uranium kit. Exclamation circle. It's a good name. There's a path. There's SVG path for this icon, for this red icon. So I'll copy that. Input kit. Come back to input kit. So exclamation circle. Also, there should be a geometry to use it really easy, much more easy. And using the same static instance always is a performance-friendly action. Geometry converter from path. Yeah, we have paths. Paths. Exclamation circle. So, yes, you can use exclamation circle here, but I want to use my label as lazy as well, because validation won't be visible at the first render. So I don't want to create those heavy objects in the initialization. So create a new label here. New label text color will be same. I will customize it later. What can I set else? Font family is really important because most of developers use their own fonts, and that question comes really much. Font family. Advanced entry has already a font family, but I cannot access advanced entry here because it's a lambda method. It's I see. If I set this in constructor, there's no constructor here because it's a partial class, but I have a method for the same purpose. Maybe I can use it as constructor. If I set it in constructor, it will be possible. Label validation equals new label, new lazy label. So I can use the properties of advanced entry. I assume that like font family. It's possible. Font family. What else I can use? Let me copy from uranium UI. So new label can contain horizontal option start. This is important. Okay, go back. Don't save anything. I can move that into initialization method. Icon validation equals new laser. Okay. I'm using content view here because defining a padding. If I set margin for path, it doesn't respond well in the UI because path is a SVG path. There is no width and height because it's SVG. You can define whatever you want. So using margin is not stable, according to my experience. So I use a container for that image for that path. So I won't use red anymore. I can use this validation color. Also, I don't need to use this keyword because I'm already in that class. It's an old behavior for me, old habit, but I want to leave that habit. It's the validation color. So my label and icon is ready to use. There's no validation color anymore. Now I can implement the validation color. So I remove that to-do item here. Public read-only static read-only a bindable property. Name shall be same with property suffix. Bindable property create wrap all the parameters down. Name is validation color. Type is color, not colors, color. Declaring type, the class itself, it means advanced entry. Default value, this is important because I don't want transparent message and transparent icon in my application because I think about it's not working, but it will be working, but it cannot be seen because it's transparent. So there should be a default value always. So I can make red as a default value and run properly changed. Sorry, I missed a comma here. Run properly changed. This is important. I will update my label and icon, but I don't update them directly. I will update them if they are created before because they are lazy. If I update them immediately, it will be there's no reason they are lazy because people will set that property in the initialization. While designing a new page, people will set validation color property. For example, they will set as red, purple, or whatever they want. If I set the icon and label text on property change method of this property, they will be initialized because I access them. So we will check if they are created or not before. I don't know, I couldn't explain it well, but I will show you in the code. Old value and new value. They are my parameters. I will use multi-line because I will do a couple of things here. If icon, what was the name? Icon validation, yeah. Icon validation. Sorry, because my bind, this is a static property. Let's say I'm trying to use shorter names. Bindable object is an advanced entry. So the advanced entry dot icon validation dot is value created before. Yes. If it's created, then I can update it. Icon validation value. If I access direct the value, it will be created immediately. So there's no reason, there's no meaning they are lazy. They will be initialized at the beginning while designing the control. So set, I won't set it. I just color. Color means here fill or yeah, because it's a path, it's a SVG path, so its product name is fill. But I don't know why I cannot. Because it's a content view. that includes path in it. The content is path. Content.path, I cannot access path because content is a view. There's a couple of ways, but this is a protected, but it's also, oh, there's no virtual here. But initialization is virtual. They can modify the initialization. They can use different things than paths. I cannot assume it's a path, but I don't know. Let's assume it's a path right now. But we have to ignore if it's not path. So I will use is statement here. If is a path color fill. New one is account. So I can continue. There's one thing more. Advanced entry dot label validation is value created again. I will check it. So there is no another if here. So I don't merge these ifs because they won't be readable. They won't be maintainable. It will be hard to understand what does it mean if I chain with AND operator. So I will leave them like that. So advanced entry, label validation, and color, text color. Sorry, value.text color and new value. I will set it as new value. So that's what will be happen after validation color property changed. But this property is not implemented yet. If people try to get this property from C# instead of XAML page, it will return this bindable property, value. Same thing while setting it. Set value, pass the value to bindable property. Now almost finished, but there is missing thing. Remove validation. Okay, we have to find place where to place our icon because we already placed our validation. Label validation is a lazy, so they should use value here. I'm not sure this one. Apply validation position. Maybe we can ignore all of them if label validation isn't created yet. Add validation over. Let's create another parameter. It's both by default. If I send true, it will create without checking it if it's created before or not. And it's not forced. If it's forced, it will create. And I will paste force through here. When it's required, it will create. But when people change the label position, it won't create a new instance label until the validation rule isn't met. So let's continue. We have to find the place to put our validation. But first, let me check the input. We cannot build right now. Okay, I got it. Implemented and that's something else here. And we cannot compile here. Oh, we just tries to build. Still, cancel it. Okay, build cancelled. Is there an error here? Yeah, there's compile errors here. What is the difference? Yeah, same. You already implemented it. I just skip them, just implement and go. I will refactor them later. Also checkbox, just implement the new interface and skip it to prevent compile errors. Yeah, we already implemented it. There's no font family because we have access to one. This is another property from the old class, but I won't move because it's a regular property. So I can build, I think. Let's build a project and see how it is right now. And I want to find something, some place to place my validation icon. The field name, what is that? What is that error? Validation changed. Yeah, this is a good event. They that means they were used, but we remove it. What this is form view? Form view checks validations when they change, when they unupdated. Oh, child, when child is moved, unregistered event, when child is added, removed, unregistered, registered new event, unregistered, registered new event. This is the event. Child added. There. Okay. This is for nested. This is for nested components. This is for nested inputs. We will refactor here, refactor it, but I'm not sure validation chain is important or not, or how we can get the changes. Triggering an event always, it's not a good idea, I think. I don't support this one, so I don't use this. I will refactor it. I don't disable it completely. And okay, we are binding a property. Okay. Okay, I will remove all of them at the end. But let's ignore them first to run application. By the way, form view has only one purpose, to yeah, this is a breaking change. All of them are removed. This card is not used anymore. Yeah, max time is still possible. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, deploy succeeded. Yeah, we can run a version that is not full featured. This is not good. What is wrong with that page? The rest of them are working well. Yeah, there's a background color, static background color. Yeah. Which branch? I mean, yeah, but I don't think this one is working. Sandbox? No, yeah. Icons cannot. I cannot see icons. Oh yeah, the input is working. There's a problem. Something's changed. Something is wrong. Do not stop debugging because it is in release mode. I cannot. That's why I couldn't see the error. Yeah, come on, we just still heavy, but it's still the best option for me. Is it working or what's the problem? Yeah, it's working now. Breakpoints, breakpoints, breakpoints. Okay. Yeah, there's some icon here. What? I'm not sure what is it. So validations are empty. Yeah, our validation check, our validation checks are working. So let's implement the remaining part of validation. Validations cannot be set from outside. There's a list of validation. Maybe I can use list instead of list because I won't use any observable collection here because validations are static things. They cannot change at the runtime. Even they can change at runtime. This collection will be updated and this collection will be used for checks. So we don't have to observe that collection changes because only this collection change doesn't affect anything. The text should be changed in input. So if users type something in input, this method will be executed again. When this method executed again, this property will be changed. We don't have to trigger any event after change. So I don't use observable correction here. Since it's same type here, I just remove this one, reducing my code base codes, make it much more readable. Then display validation is triggered by form view, but I'm not sure. Maybe I can remove that while implementing form view. Now, yeah, since we don't use icon here, but we already configured the label here, and label should be visible when I run the application. Doesn't implement because they says there is a list. Okay, let's convert the interface to list. Radio button group view. Yeah, we implemented. Yeah, okay. I'll forward ilist to list. There's one more change in checkbox. Not same font. MAUI, yes. Where is the ilist? Validation. Yeah, this should be the list. Yeah, maintaining old solution is really hard, sometimes really tough. What it says, where is the difference? List, yeah, I'm already using a list. Does it want setter? Yeah, it wants setter. Is it too important? I'm thinking about it. No, they will just use add method over the collection. We won't set it. We won't set it. Okay, now I can. Please. Yeah, it's working. Come back here. Yeah, I can write. It's not visible because the color mapping isn't configured well. Let me update the colors. Maybe it is a text color. Yeah, there's a black. But in MAUI, we don't use the static colors. We use app team binding. Oh, awesome, awesome. Copilot suggests something good, but it doesn't fit. If it's light, black is okay. But if it's dark, I'll use white. Yeah, I'll apply this text color for all of them. Now, we don't have any validation. I will add a validation to my XAML page. One view. Yeah, maybe placeholder colors are really strong. We can make them some light colors. Is there a placeholder color? Yes, light gray. Yeah, that's not so important. This is not our topic right now, but I want to make it more readable. Now, the first validation rule should be min-max. So let's show you how we can use it. Input advanced entry, and you can see there's a validations. There's a validations property here. It's visible when I hit. Now I can declare the validation here, any validation here, but our validations are not declared here. I have to declare a namespace here, XML namespace here. So let's define it together, XML namespace ns. No, this is not so right. Let's say validation, and let's take help from IntelliSense. It is in InputKit, shared, and validations. Yes, this is the correct namespace. Now I can call validations with that namespace. Validation. You can see all the validations are available here. For this one, place your name below. We can use a minimum length validation. Minimum length validation here, and it has a value, not value, length. Yeah, this is our property name. Min length is 3, and I can set message here. Your name should contain at least 3 characters. Yeah, that is my message here. So let's add another property here. It's required validation. Required validation here. So this field is required. Let me copy for the first one. Place your email below. Email is required also. Let me duplicate it to make it much more faster. So a new validation required validation. Only required is enough for now. Okay. Let's run it again. This field is required only. I don't write anything. John Doe. Why it doesn't work? Oh man. We didn't update even the label text until now. Let's go back our validation class here. This is advanced entry.validation.cs. When we add here force still, but there's no force is required because we will access label before adding it here. I will access the label before adding it. Let's say label validation.text value.text. After doing that, label will be initialized. But what will be passed here? There's validation results here, so I don't do it in here. I will do it in here. Validation passed. It's not wait for message. Validation label message. Oh, it's working. We have already done it. So let me debug it. The state changed. Why not? Let's check the. Yeah, two of them doesn't match. False. Oh, state changed. The last validation state is false, but at the beginning, at the initialization, the validation isn't shown to user, so the first state is true. I don't believe if it's the problem. Yeah, this was the problem. Because as you can see, there is no validation running here, validation running for that entry, for that input, because user haven't reacted yet, haven't touched that input. Those inputs are waiting for reaction with user. When user reacted to that one, now after that, that validation will be shown. At initial state, let me open that page again. The validations are true. Validation state seems like true because user hasn't reacted yet. So as you can see, the validation message is here, and the second one validation message is shown below. So this is our implementation before. It's an existing implementation. I haven't touched it, as you know. This is label position, validation position. If it's before, it will be rendered at the top of the entry. If it's after, it will be rendered below of entry, under of entry. So it's configured here. You can see label position before for that entry and label position after for that, but still our icon isn't available here. I want to render icon at the right of the input. So let's add to the input. So let me check the architecture again. Let's imagine there's a title here. First child of stack layout is label title. Title is this white one. Place your email address, place your name below. Those texts are title. So let's continue. And as a second child, there's another stack layout. So I want to refactor it to horizontal. I don't use that anymore. MAUI has horizontal stack layout. So children has label min value, label max value. I don't know what they are. What are they? I'm not sure what are they. Let me check if they are used in this class. Yeah, in text color, update min max value text. But still I don't get it. Display min max value changed. I really don't understand. I also don't remember what are they. Let me check from the documentation. If there is a documentation, because it's really old project. I did it when I'm junior developer, but I'm still maintaining. What is components here? Controls, and this is advanced entry. Is there any user type? I get it. This is a hint text that shows user how much they can write, but it's not useful. We can create another hint text property for that. You can see. Let me find the hint text. There is no hint here, but yeah, helper text. This is a helper text required like that. Maybe we can add something like that. We can add some helper message to our validations to show before validated, but it won't be included today. I won't implement it right now. Min max value. I don't use them. But okay, leave them as they is. Min value, max value. This is not our class, sorry, this is advanced slider. This is not advanced entry. This is advanced entry. Oh man, I need a break. Now, let me investigate again. There's a input, this is entry. First children is title. As I show you, titles are here, rendered top of the entry. There is an input grid, column definition. Okay, that's what I need. Column 0, column 1. Let's update my branch from develop. This equals with 4, but it's not equal with develop. Yeah, there's a material icon, but a class is missing. I'm sure there was a class for that. Let me go to sandbox in develop branch. Is there any? Okay, it's not important right now because that icons isn't visible here. There is some dots here, but I don't know what are they. But okay, that's okay. This is the first column of the grid. This is the second column of the grid, and I will add another column here for my icon here. So I will use that grid, use that input grid to add my icon, but it's not accessible from somewhere else. It's a local variable. I will create a field for that because everything is field right now, right here. Let's create a read-only input grid. It's a grid, input grid. So remove that bar. Now it's a field. Now I can access it from my partial class. So there is my show validation, add validation warning. I don't know, maybe still show might be better. Show and remove, show and remove, show validation and remove validation. Okay, I will use show because my brain remembers it as show. So this is my show validation method, and yeah, this method places the validation label, and I will place the icon input grid add my icon validation value. I will add it row 1. I don't create another row. I just want to render over the first row at the right at the end, because as you can see, my icon validation horizontal options is end. They will be in the same row and in the same column, but it will be aligned. It will be aligned to end, so we can see it at the end here. Let me run it again. Oh, I didn't remove it. I didn't remove it. It will add it again and again. We won't see because they all will be same position, but it's a performance issue. So remove validation warning. I will remove that one. Input grid dot remove this one. So where is my I haven't called that method here. We call that method, but we still don't call show validations warning, show validation warning method here. Now it should work. Oh, we did a mistake or not. Let me find. Oh, it's not row, it's column. It's column. It's my bad. Yeah, you can see. There's warnings here. Oh, it's strange. They won't be triggered. What is different? Are they stopped here in validation pass? I think the required validation works wrong. I cannot do it right now. I can write something. State change and show validation. Okay. Now it's required. It is really working strange. Why it's not passed? Why? This field is required, but required validation works really strange. If it's text, yes. Null, if it's not null oriented, it's not null. Okay. Okay, now it's not null oriented, so it is false because it's null. It's empty, sorry. Validation isn't passed, okay. Now, this is the problem. This is the problem because I forget it. While, yeah, as you remember, I just commented because there is a method get value for validator, but we don't have this method. We will use txt input and text. Now it will work. So if I write something, it won't be triggered, but if I delete, it is quite fine. So you can see after 3 characters, it will go. Okay, that's okay. Okay, we will update form view because form view doesn't work right now, but at least validation works visually. Let me install real quick icons to improve our demo page. I think it's released in MAUI. Icons, material. Okay, I'll go to my application. I will remove the manual one. Also, I will remove it from resources. Sorry, there's a problem, but I don't know. Okay. Fonts dot add. We just have some problems. Okay, add material icon. Yes. Now I can use material font from my advanced entry page. XML NS, XML namespace. Let's say N for material icons. Material.icons icons that material. Yeah, and this is the namespace. So where is the font family material icon? The shape is wrong. X static and oh, exactly. But it removes the color. Yeah, this is right. And material icon dot email, but I don't want to remove color. Yeah, is that right? And material on regular wrong. Let's use regular email. Material regular. It's material regular. Material regular, and this should be, what is it? Place your name. Yeah, maybe person or profile. Okay, there's no problem. I use person. The last one is phone number. Yeah, that's okay. Now the demo is completed. I will end this session after run this demo without an issue. Phone view implementation will be done later. Yeah, I can see icons right now. Start right or delete. There's a validation issues. No, validation works well and they can work independently. People can define their own validations here. Validation dot, for example, Reddit validation, and they can use any email with this button here. I don't know. I don't know here. I need to search for it, but people can write their own patterns here, and they can write their own messages, and everything works well. So this is a good validation feature that I added to my package, added to my open source project. And I also refactored and maintained the existing code. This is really tough sometimes if you deal with old code base. So this is a good session to show you how I deal with existing projects. It's not done yet, but we already implemented the advanced entry, and we will implement the form view later. Then I will separate my commits and I will do GitHub stuff. But the session is over. Thank you. If you like, I will continue this session, this kind of sessions. That's it. I will take a break. If you're interested in, you can follow the next. You can attend the next session. See you. I'm ending right now. It's almost 2 hours. I will take a break.